Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. The Divine Eye Clan, Purple Moon Holy Land, and East Emperor Holy Land had a total of 8 universe masters launching attacks at the same time. All of them were blazing their godly powers, then either directly or transformed into a roaring beast, a huge axe that could hack and shatter everything, countless threads entwined together. Various attacking methods they deployed, all directed towards and enveloping Luo Feng alone. This detestable bunch of idiots. Luo Feng was so angry that he was grinding his teeth. Then, right away, his godly body trembled. Crazy demon extermination, godly armor suddenly expanded. Soon after, it condensed into a beast god, a gigantic, single-horned lizard. It was just like Yin Tuo's golden sulphone armor, and 5 Chaos Masters' crazy demon extermination godly armor, which could also transform into beast gods. Their actual bodies would hide within the beast gods' bodies. Usually, a protective armor that could expand outward and then condense into the form of a beast god was much more valuable than ordinary Pinnacle Palace true treasures. Roar. The single-horned lizard let out a piercing roar. No matter how strongly the 8 varieties of attacks connected with it, it did not show even a trace of damage. Divine Eye Clan, Purple Moon Holy Land, and East Emperor Holy Land, the single-horned lizard roared with rage. To think you all could be shameless to such an extent. The great beings from the Divine Eye Clan scoffed. Shameless? What a great joke. With the impending doomsday, this precious Duandong River's inheritance is our only hope for survival. For this inheritance, nothing we do could ever be shameless enough. A 3-faced elder with 8 arms from Purple Moon Holy Land sneered and said, Luo Feng, you humans want this inheritance too. You are merely a weak little race, with a single universe supreme master. How ridiculous. The single-horned lizard shot him a look of indifference. Weak? They must have been unaware of the power of huge axe creator. A cold, gloomy great being from the Divine Eye Clan glared at Luo Feng. You think you can disregard us, just because you have an armor treasure? Everyone, time to take action. Let's exterminate this greatest threat in our way. Sure. Even if we don't manage to kill him, we should ensure that he cannot focus on studying the Rhinoceros Emperor game. Suddenly, the 8 universe masters continued to besiege Luo Feng. Previously, they had stood afar and merely executed their techniques with their godly powers, so the might of their attacks was not very forceful. But this time, the majority of them were 5th-tiered, or at least 4th-tiered universe masters. All of them were executing their killing moves, be they soul attacks or close-range attacks. Roar. The single-horned lizard continued to roar furiously. A bunch of bastards. You all don't even dare to go through a round of fair comprehension. What is fairness? You weak human. You are not qualified to ask for fairness. You are too weak. Ha ha. What a joke you are. Amidst all the jests and jeers, they rained attacks on the single-horned lizard without holding back whatsoever. The single-horned lizard reeled back and hit the side wall, colliding with one of the stone pillars that sported a 3-dimensional virtual shadow. This caused the stone pillars to tremble, but they were indestructible. Thus, the 8 universe masters grew even more rampant in their attacks. Beneath their onslaught, Luo Feng was rendered helpless with no room for retaliation. Crazy demon extermination godly armor, when expanded into a beast god, has extremely strong defense abilities. He thought. It is comparable to a Pinnacle Palace true treasure, yet its combat power is still at a 4th-tier standard. Out of the 8, 6 are obviously stronger than me, and I am only on par with the other 2. The most terrible thing is that those 2 are not taking me on one by one, they are all ganging up on me. Luo Feng was in a panic. He was sustaining the stability of the single-horned lizard by consuming his godly power. Although he was trying his best to put up a fight and evade their attacks, he was still being crushed. Amidst all this fighting, he had to ensure that he was maintaining the stability of the single-horned lizard. This alone kept him distracted. The efficiency of comprehending suddenly fell. Loathsome, growled Luo Feng. Duandong River is simply watching all this happen. Luo Feng was furious. He was also confused as to Duandong River's true intention. For Duandong River to have made such a comment earlier on, it was as if he wanted to make Luo Feng a public enemy. The fact that Luo Feng had a relatively short cultivation time was well known throughout Universe Ocean, and he was part of the first batch that went in to receive the inheritance for this round. When he had been at the Magicube instrument, he had been able to make an impression on Duandong River, and he was also the first to successfully comprehend the 124th stage of the Rhinoceros Emperor game. Various factors were at play. How could the Divine Eye clan, Purple Moon Holy Land, and East Emperor Holy Land watch while Luo Feng was about to receive that inheritance? Of course they would use their most devious means to stop him. Roar! The single-horned lizard let out a furious roar, and four-hooved feet suddenly stomped onto the ground as it dashed across the shadows and flew toward the other end of the passageway, where another group of undying godly spirits were. Not good. Take cover, everyone. Those undying godly spirits all had a great shock. They were implicated in a battle between universe masters. In fact, from the start of the siege, no one had yet to be annihilated, because no one knew what rules Duandong River would impose. Since it was a one-time selection of candidates, Duandong River would most likely not want to see any killing among his candidates, which was why the 8 Universe Masters made the smart move to control hold back while attacking Luo Feng. This was also why all the combat that had been going on did not implicate any of those undying godly spirits. But now, Luo Feng had charged his way in amongst the group of undying godly spirits. Once the fighting started, even if efforts were put into controlling the situation, even a minor implication would most likely cause an undying fighter to face annihilation. A dazzling, heavy hammer appeared, seeming to fill the whole space between heaven and earth. It hacked the back of the single-horned lizard, causing it to buckle to its knees. Bouts of invisible waves were produced in succession, and the undying godly spirits, who had already tried their best to escape at lightning speed, were still implicated. 2 unlucky ones eventually faced annihilation, and were reduced to nothing but ash carried away on the wind. Who? They were instantly dispersed upon annihilation. Dead. The single-horned lizard took one look behind him. 2 undying fighters have lost their lives. The 8 Universe Masters laying siege against Luo Feng were also shocked. They temporarily stopped to observe the movements around them. Shadow Dust Master, Sorcerer Sprite Master, and Deer Bug Master also watched with great eagerness. The 3 of them had yet to intervene with any matters that concerned Luo Feng since the group of great beings had arrived. Since the 3 of them, representing the Divine Eye Clan and Purple Moon Holy Land, were the most hopeful candidates for the inheritance, the 2 groups of powers naturally would not be willing to let them take the risk. There was silence for a moment. The single-horned lizard and the 8 Universe Masters laying siege on it all watched, waiting to see if the deaths of the 2 undying fighters would arouse any action from Duandong River. Kai! 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 Suddenly, from the stone pillars with 3-dimensional virtual shadows, 123 on the left and 123 on the right, there was an outburst of black and white lines. A total of 246 light rays were converging in mid-air in an instant. They transformed into a single beam that had a spirit of its own, swimming about like a water snake. This ray of light immediately swept toward the Universe Master from East Emperor Universe, who was dealing strikes at Luo Feng with his huge hammer. The ray of light ray extremely fast. It exceeded 100 times light speed, surpassing the limit allowable by the universe law. Sure. All the great beings felt a quick and forceful wave. Ah! A roar of reluctance was heard, as that lofty Universe Master holding his godly hammer was annihilated, leaving behind some true treasures on the ground. Hundreds of rays of light began to cover and wind about the godly hammer, the armor, and some other true treasures. Then they swiftly were sent to one of the nearest stone pillars, with a 3-dimensional virtual shadow. The godly hammer, armor, and other true treasures instantly disappeared into the pillar. Silence resumed within the passageway. A long time later, hushed voices began to speak. Fog Creator Master is dead. Fog Creator Master. Fog Creator, Master of East Emperor Holy Land Universe. Every great being present was taken aback. Even Luo Feng felt a shudder in his heart. This was simply terrifying. Originally, he had thought that even if Duandong River were to mete out punishment, it would probably be something like deploying his monster-like subordinates, like Kueyo. But much to his surprise, the numerous stone pillars along the passageway contained secret techniques, which could be activated even after their masters had been annihilated countless reincarnation eras ago. One strike, and Fog Creator Master was exterminated. Fog Creator Master had been a special life form that lived within East Emperor Holy Land Universe. He was skilled in techniques like the trapping of enemies, and furthermore, he was originally a living soul composed out of a mass of fog. Even after he had been condensed into human form, killing him was still extremely difficult. He had spent innumerable reincarnation eras cultivating his achievements in secret techniques. So even though he was just a living soul made up of fog, he was able to execute extremely strong attacks. In terms of power, he was definitely comparable to Primal Chaos City Leader. And in terms of the ability to protect himself, he was a notch stronger. This life form had lived through incomparably long ages. He had been a being that could roam universe ocean without restraint. Even universe supreme masters found him to be extremely difficult to exterminate. And in a single stroke, he had met with annihilation. Horrifying. This is just too scary. Fog Creator Master is exterminated, just like that. Some of the weaker, undying godly spirits showed fear in their eyes. Luo Feng, on the other hand, discreetly let out a sigh of relief. Duandong River was indeed impressive. Although a thunderous technique would have probably been enough to frighten this bunch, Duandong River was vicious, executing instant extermination and plundering the treasures immediately. Previously, when we were laying siege on human form Milky Way, Lord Duandong River did not stop us at all, said the gloomy and cold man from the Divine Eye clan. This time around, it must be because undying godly spirits were implicated, so Fog Creator Master had to die. He added in an aloof manner, so long as we do not implicate any great beings around us, we should be fine. True. We were fighting for so long, yet he did not stop us. He did not punish us. Let's get moving. We are the three groups of powers with the greatest advantage now. We must not let Luo Feng be the ultimate candidate to accept that inheritance. We must restrain him first. As for we three groups of powers, we shall just have to rely on each other's abilities. I propose that all undying godly spirits and universe knights temporarily go into the palace true treasure, the gloomy and cold man said immediately. We already know the rules. Now we just have to familiarize ourselves with how to play the game. Let them stay within the palace true treasure to work on comprehending the game first. This will ensure that they cannot possibly be implicated in any way. Good idea. I second that. The three groups of powers, the Divine Eye Clan, Purple Moon Holy Land, and East Emperor Holy Land, hesitated no longer. With the Universe Masters taking charge, and all Universe Knights, and undying godly spirits, under their command, all were sent into the palace true treasure for the time being. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng was in the form of a single horned lizard, as he stood where he was, looking at the other 7 figures in the distance. Fog Creator Master is already dead. Do you all seek your deaths too? The single-horned lizard let out a low growl. A man from East Emperor Holy Land Universe, whose entire body was surrounded with vines and green leaves, retorted with a jest. Fog Creator Master's main body was annihilated, but he still has his other body kept alive. All of us surrounding you can divide our bodies. So long as we can destroy you so that you are unable to lay hands on the inheritance, does it even matter if our main bodies are annihilated? That's right. So long as this human is dead, our deaths are worthwhile. I came here, originally, with no intentions of getting that inheritance. So long as I can remove all the obstructions in the way for my clan's members to be able to get that inheritance, annihilation is worthwhile. The 7 Universe Masters were all mentally prepared. If they were to be annihilated, they would do so most willingly, not to mention that they were willing to be exterminated in the passageway, which would only mean the extermination of their bodies. Their divided bodies would still be kept alive. You weak little human, dream on. This inheritance. You will never get it. 7 figures surrounded the single-horned lizard and charged toward it at the same time. They were all prepared and would rather give up their chance of comprehending the Rhinoceros Emperor game, just to ensure that they had this human under control, so that they could destroy him. Within the life and death corridor of the boat of Mausoleum, there were many towering figures. They were either plant life forms, blood and flesh life forms, or rock life forms. They bore all sorts of appearances, and wore different kinds of armor and robes, of which the Divine Eye Clan, Purple Moon Holy Land, and East Emperor Holy Land were the top 3 strongest groups. Every single one of them possessed powers that exceeded 10 Universe Masters combined. There were also several other Universe Masters scattered about. These Universe Masters were at areas that were extremely close to the Flame Ice region. Thus, they were able to rush over in the shortest time possible. They might be powerful, but they did not dare meddle with how the top 3 powers were dealing with human form Luo Feng. Poor human. Unlucky fellow. That human Milky Way was pretty fast in comprehending the Rhinoceros Emperor game. Duandong River has made it known so directly. If the 2 of us are also fast in comprehending the Rhinoceros Emperor game, will it be publicized? Or will we be mobbed? Even if we did decode the game, let's hide our ability for now and not let it show in the crystal pillar. It's not too late to show after some time, when the number of great beings in here gets bigger. By that time, our clan's great beings will have become stronger. True. Although they could see that Luo Feng was being besieged, they showed no trace of pity at all because deep down, they all coveted that inheritance. If Luo Feng, the most hopeful candidate for the inheritance, was out of the way, that works to their advantage. Asterisk 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 asterisk. That loathsome bastard. The same moment the horned lizard's sharp claws clashed with that huge grinder with a loud bang, its tail transformed into a dazzling arc of light with a sudden lash. Then, just like marks made by a battle blade, it slashed toward that single-eyed special life form of the Divine Eye Clan. Although those surrounding Luo Feng at that moment belonged to the 3 groups of powers, not all of them were clansmen of these 3 groups of power. For instance, Fog Creator Master, who had been killed by Duandong River through the use of an activated secret technique that the stone pillars contained, was not from any of these clans. He was a special life form. Some top groups of powers would have subjects under their command. For instance, the primal universe had humans. Thus, the human race formed the Hong Alliance with a couple of universe masters under its command. Say, in the future, the primal universe faced destruction. Luo Feng and all of humanity would have to enter the miniature universe. At that time, an even smaller part of their space would have to be divided out for their subjects. At least, as individuals, these universe masters were still able to continue surviving independently. These universe masters would naturally be of a lower status compared to the people of the human race, and in situations that involved greater risks, they would be the ones sent to deal with the situations, regardless of the dangers they had to face. Of the great beings who were dealing with Luo Feng this time around, the majority were subjects of the top 3 groups of powers with the abilities to divide bodies. Although they were subjects, they did not fall short in terms of combat ability, and were able to put up a tough fight against the toughest opponent. Luo Feng was besieged by the 7 great universe masters. Milky Way, you are really quite good in struggling. This armor of yours works really well. Losing that pair of silver wings, you unexpectedly gained this worthy armor. But what use could there be for you to put up a struggle? Fighting against us at full force, even if you managed to stay alive, how much effort would be left for you to commit to the Rhinoceros Emperor game? Give up. It is better to back off early. They were at an overwhelming advantage, as Luo Feng was, after all, still weaker in terms of godly power. And even if he was not inferior in many other areas like knowledge of secret techniques, when it came to comparing godly power, he barely made it to the same level of power as the weakest one among all 7 great universe masters. The moment they laid siege on him, he would have no choice but to be trampled upon. Relying on his crazy demon extermination godly armor, he was able to expand and take the form of Beast God. That was how he gained an extremely strong defense ability that allowed him to pull through all the attacks. This will not do. Luo Feng was fighting at the speed of lightning whilst in the body of the single-horned lizard. He was filled with anxiety. This cannot go on. I need to maintain the beast god's existence at all times, but it is consuming too much godly power. As time drags on, too much of my godly body will be consumed. And in Universe Ocean, the rate at which my godly power replenishes is slow. Moreover, even if I am not worried about using up my godly power, to continue fighting in this manner, the efficiency of studying Rhinoceros Emperor game will be greatly reduced. I can't be bothered with so much. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. As there was a large number of Universe Masters present, to the extent of 2 Universe Supreme Masters amongst them, Luo Feng had not wanted to take Star Tower out. But, forced into a corner as he was now, he had no other way out. His comprehension of Rhinoceros Emperor game was too important. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The besieged, single-horned lizard was fleeing helter-skelter, as the 7 great Universe Masters launched attacks brazenly. Suddenly, Hong! From within the single-horned lizard's body, a crimson tower emerged, and the single-horned lizard speedily disassembled itself to enter the crimson tower. Then this crimson tower sat itself on the corridor's ground and moved no more. A palace true treasure. How dare you hide within your palace true treasure? You really think we have no way to deal with you? Foolish fellow. Hiding within a palace true treasure is actually the best way to court death. The 7 Universe Masters surrounded the Crimson Tower and looked at what was in the middle of their circle. Then they looked at one another and started to laugh. Who shall make the first move? Who is willing to make a move? This is an opportunity. You should take it. I think it is better for you, Wind Wolf Master, to do it. Your sealing true treasure is one of the best among the pinnacle true treasures. We will be more certain that we can seal him inside the tower. At that moment, within Star Tower, Luo Feng could clearly hear every word of the conversation going on outside. He was inside the control hall of Star Tower, and did not dare slacken to the slightest degree. He carefully observed the outside world, listened to every sound, watched the Universe Masters in conversation with one another, and could not help letting out a snort of laughter. You all must be kidding, he said. Sealing? You all are thinking of sealing me in here. Even the best out of all the pinnacle palace type true treasures. This is a sealing type supreme true treasure we are looking at. There is no possibility of sealing this type of supreme true treasure at all. Outside, Wind Wolf Master sneered. All right, leave it to me. With my treasure, he will only be able to escape my seal if his palace is also the best out of all pinnacle true treasures. Otherwise, he will not be able to escape at all. Once sealed, Wind Wolf Master continued no more. He was worried that Duandong River would catch wind of their conversation and attack him. Once sealed, there would be no chance for Luo Feng to get into contact with the crystal pillar. Therefore, there would be no chance to receive the inheritance. Previously, 2 candidates who were undying godly souls were implicated and subsequently died, therefore leading to the annihilation of Fog Creator Master. Wind Wolf Master was also worried, because sealing Luo Feng within the tower would deprive Luo Feng of any chance of receiving the inheritance, which would also lead to Luo Feng being annihilated. After sealing Luo Feng, it was no big deal if Luo Feng was annihilated. However, if he had spoken too much before the sealing took place to have provoked Duandong River into killing him, then he would have been so wronged. Human. Wind Wolf Master held out his palm, and instantly, a dazzling tricolor tower shaft appeared suspended in midair. He snorted while looking at the Crimson Tower. Seal. Wind Wolf Master's godly power burned up to activate his true treasure. The next moment, the tricolor tower shaft flew over to station itself directly above Crimson Star Tower. A hole appeared at the bottom of the tower shaft, and an intangible yet powerful suction energy was exerting its influence over Star Tower. It started to pull on it like crazy. Hong. Long. Long. The force acted strongly over Star Tower, causing Star Tower to shake slightly. When Wind Wolf Master saw how Star Tower merely trembled slightly without even leaving the ground, he gritted his teeth and growled, "Seal. Just a little bit more." Fog Creator Master, your sealing true treasure's suction force is not enough. Add a bout of power, put in your very best. The other 6 Universe Masters were urging him on out of anxiety. Fog Creator Master was furious. He turned and shouted, "I have been putting in my best since I arrived. If my power is still short of that little bit, what can I do? To be able to put up such resistance, this human's true treasure is also a pinnacle true treasure that is one of the best. If any of you have something better, why not give it a shot?" "I'll do it," a hostile man with a single-eyed shadow behind him volunteered. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng was looking at the outside in a relaxed manner as he thought to himself, they must be kidding if they are thinking of swallowing Star Tower without it putting up any resistance. The other party must be using a supreme true treasure to make that possible. Otherwise, if both were sealing type, is it possible for a pinnacle true treasurer be able to seal his Star Tower? Sealing failed. Those Universe Masters would only think of his Crimson Tower as one of the best pinnacle true treasures. They would not have considered that it might be a supreme true treasure. Seeing how the Universe Masters failed one after another, Luo Feng did not dare to lose vigilance. He was afraid that these guys were capable of other means on top of sealing. Asterisk 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 asterisk. A dozen great beings from the Divine Eye clan, Purple Moon Holy Land, and East Emperor Holy Land had gathered here, and everyone was filled with anxiety. Earlier, the 7 Universe Masters, who had laid siege to Luo Feng, had failed and had gone to the extent of borrowing true treasures from other great beings. Yet none had succeeded, even by force. This human has too many valuables. His armor is a treasure, and this tower true treasure, I think, is one of the best pinnacle true treasures that are hard to come by. To swallow it, I think only a supreme true treasure could achieve that. True. That's right. Seems like we have to turn to a Universe Supreme Master for help. Right? Only a Universe Supreme Master would have the means to. Divine Eye Clan, out of the 3 of us, only your clan has Universe Supreme Masters present here. We will all be looking to you to complete the task. Everyone was frowning, even Dear Bug Master, Shadow Dust Master, and Sorcerer Sprite Master had noticed everything that was happening. Shadow Dust Master sent the news to 2nd and 7th True Masters of Divine Eye Clan via voice transmission. Out of the various great beings, there was certainly a handful whose powers transcend them all. True Masters, we are at our wits' end. I think only True Masters' intervention will be able to deal with Luo Feng. This time around, the representatives from the Divine Eye Clan included, other than Universe Masters, 2nd True Master and 7th True Master, who decided to join in the game. However, since the moment they had arrived, they had been silently comprehending the Rhinoceros Emperor game without intervening in this matter. Right then, the Universe Masters were no longer able to find ways to deal with Luo Feng. These 2 True Masters were their only hope now. Shadow Dust, Sorcerer Sprite, we have just arrived, 2nd True Master explained via voice transmission. However, Duan Dong River has already set the rules which forbade us to attack any other candidates. We either don't attack at all, or we meet our doom. Ah? Shadow Witch couple were shocked to learn of this. At the same time, 2nd True Master also transmitted this news to notify the other Universe Masters of the top 3 strongest groups of powers. What should we do now? Do we really watch helplessly while Luo Feng receives the inheritance? Dear Bug Master replied via voice transmission. East Emperor Holy Land and Purple Moon Holy Land were adding to the pressure and urging on the side. 2nd and 7th True Masters looked at one another. As their gazes met, they quickly came to a decision. I have a Palace Supreme True Treasure, Ice Cliff Fortress, that has the ability to seal. 7th True Master gritted his teeth as he transmitted this information. However, this Supreme True Treasure recognizes its master and has very stringent requirements on willpower. If a Universe Master were to use it, This Universe Master must have the willpower of a Universe Supreme Master. All of you from the two Holy Lands, your Universe Masters have lived through countless years. There are a few who have willpower that matches that of Universe Supreme Masters. You just have to nominate one of these few, and let him interact with the Supreme True Treasure to get it to recognize him. Then this Universe Master will be able to use Ice Cliff Fortress to seal Luo Feng. Then who shall it be? Purple Moon Holy Land and East Emperor Holy Land took some time to ponder this question, because the great being to be sent as a representative would face a high chance of annihilation. Humph! The Divine Eye Clan has provided our Supreme True Treasure. How could it be fair to ask us to send one of us out there? Seventh True Master transmitted his question angrily. He was also very anxious. If not, he would not have been willing to put his Supreme True Treasure out in the open. And he was also prepared for the moment when Luo Feng was sealed. He would seize back his Supreme True Treasure to prevent Duandong River from taking it away from him. All right, East Emperor Holy Land will go. Soon, one Universe Master stepped out from the crowd. Very well, Seventh True Master transmitted his order. With a Supreme True Treasure, unless that human Milky Way also has a Supreme True Treasure, there will be no escape for him. It was Huang Ku Master who came forward. He was from Eastern Emperor Holy Land. He had multiple bodies, and others had discovered that his comprehension abilities were inferior, so he would have loved to come forward and make some contributions to the race. Seventh True Master, that Ice Cliff Fortress. Huang Ku Master stood aside and waited for Seventh True Master to take the Supreme True Treasure out. All the other Universe Masters were looking at him. Ha ha, do you really think I'm foolish enough to just give it out like that? Seventh True Master glanced at Huang Ku Master and smirked. After all, it's a Supreme True Treasure. If you take it and refuse to return it in the future, what can I do? I have a suggestion. You give us a Supreme True Treasure, or some Pinnacle True Treasures. After we finish dealing with that human Milky Way, we'll give each other's true treasures back. Humph! What if that Supreme True Treasure is taken by Duandong River? Huang Ku Master said coldly. Seventh True Master shook his head and transmitted his voice. Those Pinnacle True Treasures are useless to me. A Supreme True Treasure, at risk of being taken by Duandong River, is worth all those Pinnacle True Treasures. Besides, we might be killed because of this inheritance, especially us Universe Supreme Masters. We don't have multiple bodies, so if we're killed, we'll be dead forever. Do you really think I'll take it? He sneered. This Ice Cliff Fortress of mine is very valuable. It's up to you. I'll ask for Supreme True Treasures directly if you're not sincere. There were over 10 Universe Masters from Eastern Emperor Holy Land, and they were all elites within Eastern Emperor Holy Land. 2 of them had Supreme True Treasures. As for the Universe Masters from Purple Moon Holy Land, 2 of them had Supreme True Treasures as well. Seventh True Master might lose a Supreme True Treasure, so Eastern Emperor Holy Land didn't want to risk it. The Divine Eye Clan and Eastern Emperor Holy Land made the deal immediately. Okay, let's do it. We agree. The Divine Eye Clan selected 8 top-tier Pinnacle True Treasures, 3 of which could rival Crazy Demon Extermination Godly Armor. This is Ice Cliff Fortress, Seventh True Master said. He waved his hands. An iceberg appeared in the sky, and there was an exquisite fortress beside the iceberg. The transparent, breathtaking iceberg could have been qualified as a piece of art. Huang Ku Master's eyes were gleaming. He tried to make the true treasure recognize him as its master. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Star Tower was still standing in the hallway. Inside the control room, Luo Feng observed the outside carefully. However, the great beings outside were all using their godly power to transmit their voices, so he couldn't discern their plan. When he saw them all take out true treasures, especially when he saw Seventh True Master take out Ice Cliff Fortress, Luo Feng immediately realized their plan. Ice Cliff Fortress. The famous supreme true treasure that belongs to Seventh True Master. Luo Feng felt intimidated. It seems they want to use a ceiling palace type true treasure to take my Star Tower. Supreme True Treasures versus Supreme True Treasures. It was difficult to speculate which one was more powerful. Star Tower is extremely powerful, thought Luo Feng. Nobody in the original universe was able to take it. However, that's only in the original universe. Star Tower hasn't competed with Ice Cliff Fortress yet. If he takes it from me, I'm doomed. If he can't take it from me, I'll be okay, but Star Tower will be exposed. Because if even Ice Cliff Fortress can't take it, they'll all know that this bloody tower is a supreme true treasure. Thoughts flooded Luo Feng's mind. What should I do? What should I do? Luo Feng frowned and kept contemplating. Either case was bad for him. He gazed outside and thought hard about it. Luo Feng noticed the crystal and stone pillars. His eyes gleamed. Okay, I'll try that. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Just when Huang Ku Master was trying to make Ice Cliff Fortress recognize him as its master, the bloody tower flew over above a crystal pillar, while the base of the tower sunk. It immediately became much taller, and it hit the top of the hallway. The crystal pillar was inlaid into the base. Ha ha. Do you really think that's going to help? Huang Ku Master laughed with Ice Cliff Fortress in his hand. He threw Ice Cliff Fortress and used his godly power to drive it. Suddenly, Ice Cliff Fortress started to float and turned to face the bloody tower. Hong! Ice Cliff Fortress immediately had an incredible absorbing power on Star Tower and made the bloody tower shake. It seemed to work, but it didn't. How is it possible? Huang Ku Master was horrified and furious. He glanced at Seventh True Master. Impossible. Unless it's a supreme true treasure. No. A man from the Divine Eye clan frowned and said, it's not a supreme true treasure. Rather, that human Milky Way just moved his true treasure and merged it with the crystal pillar. That crystal pillar was left by Duandong River. It's connected to Boat of Mausoleum. If we want to seal that human, we will have to break that crystal pillar. Ah? This has never happened. How is it possible? Everyone was dazed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng sat in the control room, smiling. Star Tower was a ceiling-type true treasure, which was why the base could be cracked and had the power to absorb everything. With the help of Blood Cloud Pearl, its shape could be altered. At this moment, the base of Star Tower was stuck tightly to the crystal pillar. Even if Star Tower wasn't a supreme true treasure, it would have to be separated from the crystal pillar before it could be taken away. If the base of Star Tower or the crystal pillar was broken, they could be taken altogether. However, apparently, the stone pillars and crystal pillars left by Duandong River were invincible. This rarely happens, Luo Feng whispered. When other great beings are being absorbed, their only choices are to use their burning godly power to resist or to hide in their palaces. There are rarely objects that can't be moved by supreme true treasures, even in the three lands of Extremis. In the three lands of Extremis, there were many environments, lava, winds, and lakes, and there were no objects available to be used to protect oneself. It was like an ordinary person holding a tree during a tornado. When the tree broke, or the human let go, he would be blown away. Some supreme beings were so powerful they didn't have anything to hold on to. Even in the three lands of Extremis, there were a few objects that even Universe Supreme Masters couldn't break. Boat of Mausoleum and black-striped stone pillars were exceptions. As for the natural objects in Tilted Peak Sector and Flowing Countless Mountain, they could be easily broken. Which was why there were few objects that could be clung to by great beings. However, Luo Feng was in Boat of Mausoleum, where even the ordinary ground could resist the attacks from Universe Supreme Masters. As for the stone pillars and crystal pillars, those were used for inheritance, so they were unbreakable. Boat of Mausoleum was an exception, and great beings just tried to use a seal palace-type true treasure to absorb Luo Feng, so they immediately understood the mysteries behind this. Damn it. What a lucky guy. Even though supreme true treasures are powerful, they can't just break that crystal pillars, not to mention crack a pinnacle true treasure. We can't do anything now. That crystal pillar the human Milky Way clung to is the crystal pillar he's using himself. Even if he stays there forever, he can still study the Rhinoceros Emperor game. All the great beings had already figured out the mysteries. They were all furious, yet they couldn't do anything about it. We can't just kill him. Huangku Master, give Ice Cliff Fortress back to me, said 7th True Master. Huangku Master was hesitant at first. He made eye contact with other great beings, and he gave back the true treasures anyway. The three powers were all upset. We can only use the simplest way now. Attack it. Material attack, soul attack. It's only a pinnacle palace type true treasure. It might defend itself against material attacks well, but it'll be less efficient against soul attacks. I don't think he can still study Rhinoceros Emperor game when his soul is affected. We can even kill his soul. Okay. Let's attack him together. The 7 Universe Masters started to attack Luo Feng again. However, Luo Feng was sitting in Star Tower and not being affected by the attacks. Soul attacks can't penetrate it even a little bit. His palace-type true treasure is very special. It must be made of some special material. Godly power can't penetrate it at all. The 7 Universe Masters immediately figured it out. Some materials could indeed block godly power, such as Force Armor, which could weaken all sorts of soul attacks to 1/10. Crazy Demon Extermination Godly Armor could weaken soul attacks to 1/100th. As for Boat of Mausoleum, it could completely block a soul attack. Star Tower was a supreme true treasure. If it was put inside someone's body, it could guard the soul. Outside, it could easily resist all sorts of soul attacks. As for material attacks, some shockwaves passed inside, as no supreme true treasures could perfectly block shockwaves. However, with the protection of a supreme true treasure, material attacks couldn't break valuables. That true treasure can completely block soul attacks. What a true treasure! Second only to a supreme true treasure. Damn it. Then we'll use material attacks. It's only a top-tier pinnacle true treasure. Under the shockwaves, he won't be able to study the game. The 7 Universe Masters could only hit that Star Tower again and again, like a blacksmith hitting the iron repeatedly, making Star Tower shake. Of course, the shaking was fake. Those attacks were nothing to Star Tower. This video will end here.